We're live.
We are alive again for another week.
We're getting better at this.
We are. It only took us about 20 minutes to get ready for this, compared to 3 hours the last few weeks that we tried to do this.
Yeah, well, we are on Instagram. We are on Facebook, our Dragonfly Facebook. We're on YouTube and Periscope. So we're going for it.
Yeah. So
what are we going to talk about today?
So welcome everyone. We appreciate you signing in and logging in and being with us today. We're going to talk about a few things. We talked last week mainly about meditation. We want to talk a little bit about meditation today. We want to talk a little bit about spirituality, and we want to also talk about kind of freeing up our minds and not living in as much worry and fretting and anxiety as what is going on out there today. It's like everyone that I talk to, most people that I talk to, have this higher level of anxiety and this higher level of feeling like they're stuck or in a rut and not progressing in life. Have you ever been there?
No.
I didn't think you had been, but it's certainly something that we can address. And if we don't get through it all today, there's certainly next week to try to get through anything. You look lovely today, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You look mighty handsome yourself.
Yeah. But you tell that to all your co-hosts.
Yes, because there's so many of them.
There are so many. So let's kind of start at the beginning. In the Dragonfly 60-Day Transformation Program, we have an entire week dedicated to spirituality. So those of you that are interested in signing up for that particular course, we spend a week on spirituality, and then we also carry through the remainder of the time, kind of adding little nuggets, videos and teachings on spirituality. So, when you think about spirituality, a lot of people automatically go to religion. Some people automatically go other places. Religion is a part of spirituality, and they're both combined in a sense in a lot of ways. But there's also a practical understanding of spirituality that is separate from religion. That actually transcends a lot of what religious teachings are. And most people know that we are Christians in our faith, the people that know us anyway. And but there's a sense of spirituality that has not a whole lot, not emphasizing a particular religion, but still has an effect on us, and it has an effect on you, and it affects on me. Because spirituality, if you ask a lot of people, the definition would be simply an awareness of a higher power, an awareness of simply more than what we can see, more than what's in front of us. And I think most of us have a feeling that there is something greater than us. There's a connectedness out there. So this connectedness is part of spirituality. We as individuals are connected. We are a tripartite being. We're spirit, soul, and body. And we're connected. When one part of us suffers or lacks, the entire. We are also connected with each other in many ways. We're connected to the earth. We're connected to each other. Doesn't mean that we're all necessarily one in a sense that we're all the same, but we are different with a sameness about us. Spirituality, I'm not going to talk a whole lot of time on spirituality. I just kind of want to lay a foundation. But spirituality also has to do with effect. It's amazing that things that I do can affect you in a lot of ways. It's amazing that I can pray, or I can meditate, or I can do some things, and it affects not only me, but it affects people halfway around the world. Would you disagree with that or agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that.
Okay. So part of spirituality is the connectedness that it manifests. Also, the energy is another part of spirituality. So we know that you can walk into a room and you can feel the energy of the room. That's not necessarily a physical thing. It's not necessarily an emotional thing, but it is a spiritual thing. And so spirit has energy to us. Now the divine spirit is a peaceful spirit. What's the word that you would use for that? Sattvic?
Sattvic, yes, sattvic.
And sattvic means peaceful, right?
Peaceful, okay. Perfect, bliss, harmony. And also talking about the energy right now, I think that in this time of COVID and all this unrest that we seem to be going through, I mean, it seems like we're being bombarded one thing after another. I mean, it's been like that for
Months.
quite some time. Yeah,
8 months now.
at least, just bombarded with one big thing after another. And it's collectively, there's this energy that I think everyone is picking up on and detecting. That's if you're conscious of it, then you can do something about it. But if you're
Yes.
not conscious of it, I think we're all reacting out of this energy, that this collective energy that seems to be a dark, negative energy that we're feeling right now. And if you're not conscious of it, then we're all tend to act out in ways that we don't normally act out. So in like in unpeaceful ways. So we're seeing a lot of hatefulness out there, and I'm seeing hatefulness from people that I know are not hateful people. They are just simply not hateful people. But some of the things that are happening, they're reacting in ways that are just not true to who you are. And it's kind of like, have you ever been around somebody that you just didn't like the way you behaved when you were around them?
Mm-hmm.
So they just seem to bring out the worst in you.
Yes.
So it seems like right now you wouldn't know who that was, would you?
No. You bring out the best in me.
I know.
At all times.
I know that. But so my point in that is that I think that we're all behaving in ways that we normally would not behave.
Yeah.
Because we're not recognizing or detecting that underlying negative energy that we're all feeling right now.
Sure. Yeah, there's so much negativity, and it's natural to want to join in, and that's just joining in with that spirit, that energetic spirit that has overtaken our culture, overtaking a big part of the world, because people have. I'm seeing people that are just acting so angry that typically, like you said, they're typically not the angry type of people. But that's in a sense how spirituality and energy even connects us together.
Yes.
And it draws us in. But we do have the ability to reject that spirit or that energy and to live in peace, to live in harmony, to live not in a way filled with anxiety and fear. But I want to get through this real quick. So there's just 4 things I wanted to mention. And again, I go into more detail in this in our 60-day transformation program. So as far as spirituality, it does have to do with something bigger or greater than ourselves, has to do with cause. If I say the word intuition, would you consider that something that's spiritual, something mental, or something physical?
I consider it spiritual.
I consider it spiritual too. See, we all have a knower. The knower is the spirit of us, the spirit that abides within us. There are times when we know things in our knower that it's not necessarily our head telling us. It's not necessarily information that we gathered from someone else. If you're a parent, then there have been a lot of times when you've known in your knower that something was wrong with a child or something, they were in trouble. My kids would never be in trouble, but that they were having issues or something like that. And you just know in your knower that something's wrong without being told physically, and you find out later that that particular day something happened, and it was just your way of the connectedness that you have with someone that you love and care about was letting you know to be alert or to be on guard against that. But also maybe you were at a red light and the red light turned green, and for some reason you didn't go. You had a feeling to sit there, and then a car runs through that didn't see the red light on their side. And so they run their red light, and if you'd have proceeded at your green light, then it may have caused an accident. But you have this hesitancy to hold back for just a few seconds, and then you know why. So a lot of times we have a feeling in our knower, and we don't know why we have the feeling in our knower. But it's always wise to honor that, because that's our spirit in touch with the universal spirit and just kind of leading us and guiding us. So connectedness. Energetic levels are spirit. The effect that we have on each other is also spirit. And identity is one thing that's not talked about a whole lot as far as spirituality, but I always include it because our identity is the part of our self-worth, our self-concept, the way we see ourselves. And the way we see ourselves is going to affect not only, for example, if I see myself in a limiting way, if I see myself in a way that's negative, That's going to affect me, but it's also going to affect the way I react with other people, because I'm filtering it through a limited or a negative self-conscience and a negative self-worth. It also, for those of you that believe in a higher power or God, it also affects the way we relate with God and allow God to relate with us.
Well, and I so totally agree with you. But if I can tag on to what you're saying
Sure.
with this identity part of it, there's and our identity with God, because if you're a believer in God or the divine of any higher power, you know that's victorious. There's victory there, and no matter what, if you have any religion, we all believe that the higher power is for our good. It's a good power, and so my point in that is attaching our identity, and what we attach our identity to is so very important.
Is very
And
much so.
one of the trending things that I see that's going on, that's part of this negative energy that we started the show off talking about, is what we're identifying with. And right now we're kind of, I'm not going to say we are in a dangerous time when we seem to be rewarding victimization, being a victim of some sort. And so if you are a human on this earth, you know that life is not perfect and that you will always be a victim of someone or something. It's just part of the natural laws that are set in place. Now, some people will go through a lot worse incidents and others will not. And interesting enough that if you are into Buddhism and you believe in multiple lives, then part of that, the experiences you experience according to that belief, is part of your dharma, what you're supposed to go through in order to feel the full human experience. But my point in saying that is attaching ourselves this day and age to a victim mentality and identity, and then getting rewarded with it, because everyone seems to be encouraging and rewarding this victim identity. And the more victimized we've been, the more attention we will get, like on social media, if you pour your heart out. Now, I'm not saying there's something very therapeutic about pouring your heart out on social media. There's something very cathartic about letting it out. And so that's different than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you do feel this need to release, whether it be journaling, which is the safest thing to do, or you want to communicate with the world and put it out there on social media, then understanding your reasonings behind it. Is it attention seeking to grow this false identity that you've created and that others are reinforcing? Or is it something cathartic that you need to release and then let it go? And then, because sometimes we just need to have some empathy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some compassion from others. We need
to
other people to say, I hear you. And so there's a difference in what I'm talking about. It's the constant victim, and let's be a victim and let's grow that victim mentality. And then that's when we start losing the spiritual connection to the victory. Because if we are truly spiritually and divinely connected, we will never feel like a victim, no matter what victimization or horrendous experiences you may have gone through.
Yeah. And we understand that a lot of people have gone through some horrendous things.
Yes.
And but we also believe that there's healing. Just about everything that happens to us, we can find a place of acceptance. We can find a place of healing. We can find a place of restoration in most cases, to bring life back to us and to not have to live in the past.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, the with everything going on, there's scientists believe, and this is a broad spectrum of belief, but anywhere from 60 to 100,000 scientists believe that we have 60 to 120,000 thoughts a day. So that's a lot of thoughts, but you have to realize that they're all connected, that one little thought leads to another thought, to another thought, to another thought. But scientists also believe, and they're in agreement with this, that whether it's 60,000 or 120,000, that 80% of our thoughts are typically negative. That's a lot of negativity. And then one step farther, Scientists also are in agreement that most of those thoughts of that 80%, that most of those thoughts are repetitive, that we think the same repetitive thoughts, negative thoughts over and over and over again. What does that do to us?
Well, well, so what
it creates quite a negative picture.
Absolutely, but
within
what
us.
I was also thinking is the negative thoughts can also be something that was spoken over you as a child, whether it be a parent or a teacher
Could be.
or a friend or something that was spoken over you as a child that you took on as a truth, and that then became a repetitive thought or thinking.
Could be something that people are living with today.
Absolutely.
Could be a fear of things that are going on in our culture, things that are going on with the COVID situation.
Good point. Because right now, if you turn on the news, and I do not recommend anyone doing that, do not turn the news on. We don't need to hear that crap. But if you are listening to anything or getting on social media at any point, you are going to be told fear, 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 right?
Right.
Wear your mask, separate, scared, hide in your house, all these things, all these fearful things. And if you listen to it long enough, you're going to believe every single thing,
right,
whether it's true or not. No, I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm just saying you will believe the fear, right? And then grow that.
Yeah, it's what are we going to feed upon? What are we going to fill our minds with? There's a lot of things out there. Again, if scientists believe that 80% of all of our thoughts throughout the day are negative and most of them are repetitive, we have to come to some kind of realization and understanding that not every thought we have to own.
Mm.
So we have the opportunity to own a thought or reject a thought. We have an opportunity to take it and to do something with it and make it ours, or let it pass on through. So there's a lot of positive things out there that we can be doing. There's a lot of mantras that we could be saying. As a matter of fact, when we talked last week about meditation is a very important tool that we have to stay positive, to avoid some of the emotional and mental downfalls that we see people having. It's a good way to get out of the rut that people are feeling. I continue to talk to people as a counselor, and just talking to people in general, finding out that more and more people are just feeling like they're in this rut.
So what do they do when they find themselves thinking on negative things, absorbing some of this negative identity? I know sometimes I got cleaned up my Facebook feed because I was seeing so much negativity that every time I just got on to post something on there, I'm making a conscious effort. Is what I'm posting, is it a positive thing, or is it feeding into all this negativity? And I invite everyone to try something different.
Sure.
Post something positive. But what do you do? Like I changed up my Facebook feed. I unfollowed a lot of people that were just lots of negativity. Yeah. And the reason being, I would get on there just to post something, and we all do it. We just start scanning down, seeing what everyone's up to. And I want to see like good things happening.
Puppies and children and grandchildren.
Well, yeah, and raccoons. And
no kittens. No kittens, though.
Yeah, kittens. And but you want to see what adventure and life and
right.
things that are going on, and the latest flower that's blooming in your yard, anything. But what I found myself doing is when I would scroll down just to check out what was going on with my friends, that I would get off feeling really rotten. I would get off, and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram was just making me feel rotten when I looked at it.
Yeah, well, there's a few things, and I'll touch on that, what you just said, in just a minute. But I want to encourage people. There is a way to live above anxiety and stress and all this tension and all this fear that we have going on in our lives. So I'm gonna go through just a few things real quick, okay, because we're not going to be on for an hour today.
Yeah, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try.
Compress the show.
We keep going over.
We went 3 hours and 59 minutes the other day, and it was crickets, and we were like, it's bedtime. What are we doing here? So maybe it wasn't that long. First of all, I want to encourage all of us that we have to give up control. We all know that control is an illusion anyway. So the more we try to control our lives and the more we try to control other people and the situations and circumstances around us, the more frustrated we're going to be, the more anxiety we're going to have, because we cannot control anything. Usually we can't even control ourselves. So how are we going to control the things around us? You can't control me.
So control is an illusion.
Control is an illusion. Even when we think we're in control, we're never in control. There's too many things going on. We're connected to too many things. And even the connectedness that we have, we can't control. For example, the people on your Facebook or my Facebook that post things that get you discouraged and get you down.
No.
You can't control what they're going to say.
No.
You can say, okay, 80% of my thoughts are going to be positive today. But you're being bombarded with everyone else's thoughts and everyone else's fears and all those things. That's why it's important. You can look at the motivational speakers. You can look at a lot of inspirational speakers, and everyone will tell you, regardless of what faith they are, regardless of what religion they are, they will tell you that positivity is one of the most important things. To keep a positive aspect, a positive perception, a positive outlook on life. And when I want to encourage us all to begin to catch our thoughts, because our thoughts are going to lead to feelings, our feelings are going to lead to attitudes, our attitudes are going to lead to actions. And by the time it gets out to an action, it can't be taken back for the most part. Mm-hmm. So again, you don't have to own every thought that comes into your head. We don't have to control what goes on around us, but we can live with a sense of peace and a sense of ease that this will pass and there's something on the other side of today. There's hope for tomorrow. There's hope for the next day. But when we give up control, we really can't be at peace if we're in control, because then we're worried about controlling everything and the peace leaves. Peace and worry cannot stay in the same place. So let's give up some control. Let life, God, the universe, whatever you want to refer to, allow yourself to be at peace and not so much having to be in control.
Well, talking about control too, I think it's funny, and I do not want to get political here at all. So, but I am going to bring politics up, but no politics. No. So what I think is really funny is everyone's so angry because one person wants this person to win and another person wants this person to win. And how dare you? And I'm going to unfriend you because you want that person to be president. And what I think is funny, and I kind of say, because I get wrapped up into, we're all human. We all get sucked into that energy, right? But what's really, really funny is if you can take a step back and realize.
What's it going to matter 10 years from now?
Well,
it will,
yeah,
but we'll have a different fight
ultimately,
by then.
yes, just do your part in whatever it is that you believe, but let God take care of the rest, right? So everyone's trying to control the outcomes here, and there's only one that can control the outcome, right?
Yeah. So we give up control. Another thing that we can do is we can step away from the source of anxiety. So if Facebook is causing anxiety, then I would say be on for the least amount of times that's necessary.
Yes, or clean up your feed and just have people that inspire you and let go of the people that are being negative. Now, remember, I think that some of us, like including myself, I went through a dark period too and started posting a lot of negative stuff. So give people grace through all this. It could just be a phase they're going through. It might just be that they need to be heard. Let them go through. If you know this person, let them go through it. But if they, if it continues on, then you can unfollow them and still be friends with them, still have that connection with them, but not see all the negativity.
Well, we turned off the news about 3 months ago.
Oh, it's been longer than that.
And we've had it on twice, I think. And both times we've turned it on, we're like, why are we doing this again?
This is awful.
And so, step away from the things that bring anxiety to you or the sources that bring anxiety to you, but step into the things that bring you peace. Listen, if meditation is one of the things that can bring you peace, prayer is one of the things that can bring you peace. Going on a walk in the woods or on the like we do in the mornings and sometimes in the evenings, go on a walk on the intercoastal waterway
Reading
and
a good book,
just simply
drinking a nice cup of tea.
listening to nature,
Yes.
and doing those things will add to the level of peace that you have and help reduce the anxiety. So step away from some things, step into another thing. Another point that I want to make is that, what meaning or interpretation are we given to events that happen in our life? The way we process a particular event, or the way we process a happening or a short chapter of our life, the way we process that determines where we end up at it. If we are processing wrong meaning or wrong interpretation into that, then it's going to affect us in a negative way all the way around. So let me make a comment. And so I'm going to mention the coronavirus. So
The C word.
as it happens, that the survival rate is 99.6%, between 99.4 and 99.6. So do I believe that the coronavirus is a serious health issue? Yes, it is. Do I believe that it's been blown out of proportion? Yes, I do. Do I believe that the flu is a serious health issue, or a health endangerment? Yes, I do. There's a lot of things, especially if people have immune compromise, their immunity system is compromised in some way. And by all means, you should be taking extra steps to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself as healthy as you can. Some of the previous episodes of this telecast of the show, this Thursday show that we do.
What is it that we do?
We talked, I don't know. I just sit here and talk.
Yeah, talking head.
What was I saying? I need more meditation so I can focus and concentrate. We talked about ways to improve your immune system, but getting back to what I was saying is that the fact is that a lot of people that have had the coronavirus have had no symptoms. A lot of people have had no serious side effects whatsoever, or the symptoms they had were no more than what they would experience with a cold or flu. Now, I understand that they range severely, but we tend to because of the fear factor involved here, we tend to think the worst of every situation.
Can I answer
Sure.
a question? I love when we get questions, and there's been a lot of questions going on, but one of them is if God exists, why has he put corona on us? And I love questions like that, because God put us here for the human experience, right? And we're not immune to human experiences. So why did God put coronavirus? Well, why is there cancer? Why is there flus? Why, viruses of any sort? Because pandemics throughout history is a part of life. It just so happens that this is the first pandemic that we've experienced in our lifetime. But throughout history, it is a natural, universal law that the earth cleanses itself. And I personally believe that it's a universal law of cleansing. It's just like we have here. We live in Florida, and a couple of years ago, we experienced a horrendous red tide. And I would walk the beach, and the smell and the dead animals that came up from that red tide was so heartbreaking and so awful. And I thought, how can our ocean ever recover from this? And it did. It cleansed and it rebirthed. And so throughout this earthly cycle, as long as we're here on earth, we are subject to the laws of this earth. So we're having a human experience. We're spiritual beings and having a human experience. And so as long as we do that, we're going to endure whatever natural earthly laws have been set into place in that. And one of those are the virus, and you can hit on that as well. I love questions like that.
And this particular virus anyway is synthetic in the sense that it's created in a lab. So I don't know that you can blame God for the coronavirus. Certainly negative things do happen. If the question is, if God exists, why has he put corona on us? So I don't believe God put corona on us. I believe it's a man thing to start with.
Yeah.
Now there are other things that seem to come naturally, but But the question and the assumption, I guess, is God may or may not exist. And for a lot of people, I understand that. I understand your questions. I understand that you have some hesitancy to believe in something. But if you believe in evil, then you have to believe in God. If you believe that coronavirus or any other things are negative, if you believe that evil exists, there has to be an extreme evil. If you believe that good exists, there has to be an extreme good. And I believe God is at the extreme end of the good. And a lot of negativity and darkness at the other end of the spectrum. So we can get into this on some other show.
Sure.
I can't really read the comments anyway.
Good. Because somebody just wanting to argue, and we're not going to feed into that.
Yeah. But anyway, a lot of times we just give meaning to things that are not the true meaning or not the interpretation. Mm-hmm. If you get the coronavirus, you have a 99.6% chance, 99.4% chance of surviving and coming out fine with the antibodies to overcome it next go around, if there is a next go around. So those are some of the things that we can begin to think about. We can begin to control our thoughts. We can begin to recognize the meaning that we give to things.
And recognizing our thought patterns.
Sure. Recognize your thought patterns and recognize the source of your anxiety and your fears. Because everything going on in the world right now is not necessarily coronavirus or COVID-19 related. There are a ton of things. We mentioned earlier, there are a ton of people that have this feeling of stuckness or this feeling of being in a rut. So I would simply ask you, a lot of times being in a rut is a lot of times people suffering from guilt or shame feel like they're in a rut, feel like they're being held back, feel like they're not being able to move forward. And I would say, regardless of what you've been through, there's grace, there's forgiveness. Give some to yourself and allow yourself to overcome the things that would bring you shame, bring you guilt. Speak to a minister, speak to someone on a personal basis that can guide you through that and lifting yourself up out of that. A lot of times inactivity itself fosters that feeling of being in a rut. The not being creative. My wife is a very creative person. So am I. And chances are you are too.
Yes.
We're all created with a unique level and a unique creativity within each and every one of us. And when we get so busy with jobs and we get so busy with other things that have nothing to do with our creativity, that's when we really begin to feel like we're in a rut. Because there are gifts that she has, my wife has. As a matter of fact, the coronavirus, the 2 months that we were shut down as far as our business goes, she rediscovered her love for art. She rediscovered her love to paint and to draw. This is a commercial of the dragonflies that she painted. This
is Audrey's dragonfly here.
Yeah, one of those are her twin sister. But she began to do that on my face. She began to do pet portraits for people, and it really re-energized and reactivated something in her that had been dormant. It re-energized her life, and she was able to get out of the rut that the coronavirus had helped to put her in, and all the episodes of life surrounding that. And so her art helped to draw her out of that and to push her forward.
We were in quarantine and we didn't know where the business was going, what was happening. This was all new. It was fear-inducing. And so connecting back to creativity helps connect us to divine, because I think that the divine is creativity, period. And so connecting back to that in whatever form.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be art for you. It could be writing, could be acting, could be a lot of different things, but reconnect with the creativity that's within you, and that will give you the energy to get out of the rut. So that, along with, sometimes I never, as a counselor, I never encourage people, I don't want to say never, but hardly ever encourage people to go backwards, to look back in life. trying to always encourage people to look forward, to reprocess things that happened in the past with a positive, a different viewpoint on it. But there are times, if we feel like we're stuck, there are times to look back, just to say, is there something in my past that's keeping me from going forward? In dealing with that, cutting that off of you, and then going forward in a positive way. So again, adding meditation. Change your mantra. There's a lot of different types of meditation that we reviewed last week that we don't have time to review today, because we're not going to be here for an hour today. And but I talked a little bit.
We've been here 35 minutes.
Talked a little bit about mantras. So listen, a mantra is simply a repetition of a particular word or a phrase or a sound. You simply repeat it and allow it to settle into your mind and into your heart. But we all have a mantra that we say to ourselves that we are unaware of most times. And a lot of times, because of the 80% of the thoughts that we have that I mentioned earlier, that scientists agree that, that the 80% of our thoughts that are negative, we're constantly telling ourselves some mantra, one or the other. If 80% of our thoughts are typically negative thoughts, then we typically have a negative mantra about us. And so we can change the mantra. Whatever it is that you're experiencing, let your mantra be just the opposite of that. If you need peace, repeat the word peace, or repeat the phrase, I am at peace. My mind is at peace. My body is at peace. Whatever it is that you need, if you're financially struggling, it's okay to let your mantra be that all of my needs are supplied. All of my needs are supplied.
And then connecting that mantra with the breath too will help calm the mind and ease you into the spirit.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up. We'll be back next week, but we're going to do just a quick meditation. It's not going to take too long. So what I want you to do is, in your seated position, sit straight, put your hands on your lap, and I want you to go ahead and turn your palms up today in a receiving position. Close your eyes and simply begin to breathe. Close your eyes, begin to breathe through your nose. Once again, the way our bodies are created, designed, we begin to breathe through our nose. It activates the brain. Our brain begins to limit fear and anxiety in our life, and begins to allow more of a peaceful feeling of ease to come upon us. So take some deep breaths. Let each breath be a little deeper. So as we inhale, we're inhaling life. Just as the life of our body is in the blood, the life of our soul is in the breath. Allow yourself to relax. Allow every muscle to be at peace and to be at ease. So in just a second, I'm going to say a word as you continue to breathe. When I say this word, I just want you to picture the word in big block letters. And when I say the word, as you inhale, I want you to see that word coming towards you, combining with your breath, coming into you, and becoming a part of you. On the exhale, I'm going to say a word, and I want you to see that word in dark letters as you exhale, and I want you to see that word going away from you and breaking up into thousands of little pieces and simply falling to the ground. So use your imagination with me. So let's get in sync here with each other. So let's inhale very deep. And exhale. And on your next inhale, I want you to picture the word peace. I want you to breathe. Let that come into you. And exhale the word stress. See that going away from you. Inhale peace. Exhale stress. One more time. Inhale the word peace. Exhale the word stress. Now for your next 5 breaths, I just want you to picture that with each inhale, you're bringing in light, that the breath is light, and it's illuminating your mind, your heart, your spirit. On your next inhale, I want you to inhale the word courage. Exhale the word fear. Inhale the word courage, see it coming and mixing with your breath. Exhale, fear. One more time, inhale the word courage. Exhale the word fear. See it go away from you and break up. And then return to breathing. Imagine that every breath is light and that you're inhaling light. Allow the light to bring revelation and peace. Continue to breathe in the light. On your next inhale, I want you to inhale the word wisdom. Exhale the word foolishness. Inhale wisdom. And exhale foolishness. One more time. Inhale wisdom. And exhale foolishness. And then for 5 more breaths with every inhale, picture that you're inhaling light. It's enlightening your spirit, your soul, and your body. I'm going to close in just a second. I want you to make this your mantra today. Say this with me. I have peace. I have courage. And I have wisdom. Say it again. I have peace. I have courage. And I have wisdom. Take one more deep breath, deeper than you've taken. Exhale. And open your eyes when you're ready. So sometimes meditation can be short, just 5 minutes long, 4 minutes long, 3 minutes long. Just reminding, make it a mantra, make it a visualization of something that you need, something that you desire. See that coming to you and see what you don't need and don't want, see it going away from you. So we hope that hope you receive something today. Hope you're encouraged. Remember, positivity is important. When you're faced with an event, try to interpret it and try to give it meaning that's realistic and not overboard with your fears and with your thoughts. Anything to say?
I do. I would like to ask, just leave comments, send us email, messages, however you want to communicate with us. Every week we're talking Ayurveda, yoga, and spirituality, all the tripartite things that we are created or made up of. So let us know what you want to talk about. Next week, we're going to be hitting back on Ayurveda and yoga topics. So if there's a particular health issue that you have that you'd like to talk about, how to adjust it Ayurvedically, how to keep your doshas in balance, how to keep a life and balanced in general. Give us your questions. We would be glad to address them on these live shows.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. It's interactive. It's all about let's talk Ayurveda, yoga, and spirituality.
Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Bless you all.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.